Yep. I am live right now. Let's see who we get in the room first. I should make up a jingle for this, really. Can you sing me a jingle?
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow. Let's talk about YouTube videos. Got no one live yet in my room.
Have we not?
No, I can't see anybody. It still says 0. Just sitting here waiting. Let's have a drink while I'm waiting. No one might not join me today. Oh, we have Michael in the house. Hello Michael, happy Sunday to you. Excuse me, I'm just trying to open my protein shake. I'm pretending to look healthy. And it's squirting everywhere. Apologies, 1 second. Here we go. How are you, Michael? How have you been? Are you good? Could you... Hey, we have Paul in. Hello, Paul. Paul is one of my regulars. He comments on all of my videos. Thank you, Paul. So, Paul, am I right in saying you got purple gourmand in? Thoughts? And could people let me know if the sound's okay as well? That would be good. So we have 3 people in the room. Just wait until we get a couple more people in and then we'll start the conversation. But yeah, Paul, let me know what you think of purple gourmand. Put a comment in. And Michael, what are you up to today? Have you got any plans for today? Hey, we have Nigel in the house. Hello Nigel, I've just seen you drop your video, mate. I haven't seen it yet. I will be watching it as soon as we finish the live. But it'd be good to hear your thoughts on obviously Matt's lovely creation and what you think. Yes, really impressed and very surprised. Yeah, it's quite a surprising fragrance, isn't it? It is completely different. I hope you found my review accurate, actually. That's what, obviously, one of the things I'm always concerned about. Yes, Matt's got a lovely fragrance on his hands, but did the reviewers convey it in a way that was real when you got it? I have John in the house. Hello John, how are you? Welcome. So just to give you a plan as the numbers hopefully creep up a little bit in the room, plan of action is we're going to talk about some different fragrance videos that we've seen this week and the ones that we've enjoyed. I'll exclude mine from those because I think that's only fair, and we will include other people's videos and we'll have a chat about those videos and just have a bit of a laugh, I think. I have my wife on the comments today, so she will probably be taking the mick out of me.
How?
1 second, I'm just going to talk to my wife. Go onto my live stream.
Yeah, but I'm not logged in on YouTube.
You are, I've just logged you in already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it ready before we started.
Oh, yeah.
So you have the power in your hands.
What can I create today?
Right, so here we go. So Marcus in the house. Marcus, welcome mate. How you doing? Great guy. So got John. Well, Tony, it's all subjective with smell, so I think watch loads and you get a better impression. Yeah, I watch a fair bit anyway. Probably, I would say I wouldn't get the time to watch as much as you, John, but I do try and get as much in as I can. It is difficult obviously with the family here as well. I can't just sit here watching videos all day long, but I catch up when I can. Pocket Scents have a couple of new fragrances out. Will you be getting any samples for review? Yeah, I've got the sale on the way. I've ordered that in. I've sampled that, and as a result of the sample, I bought it. I've got that en route as we speak, and I will be reviewing that. Yeah. I've also got a sample of an upcoming creation, these Virgin Island Water coming as well, which I won't review them usually until they're ready and on the website. But at least I get a head start into what they're like. What are you implying? I have no life? No, John, as my wife just put just above, I have housework to do. And I do majority of it. I'm a good liar. I'm a car salesman. What can I say? Nigel, I tend to watch the UK reviewers mostly. Yeah, I think we've got a lovely little community here, Nigel. I've been thinking about something. Do you think it's a good idea to have a UK reviewers group? I think that would be a good idea, where we can all chat, get ideas from each other, have a bit of a laugh. I'm quite liking the idea, but I'm not sure who will be up for it. We're all part of quite a few groups, and it's getting the time to talk to everyone. But hey, I'm up for it. Doesn't. Same Nige, mate. Not because I have anything against the US. Great guys. I guess it's easier to click with our UK guys. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I watch a lot of US reviewers, and I started with some of the bigger ones. I've stopped watching some, but I watch the majority. I've got my favourites. Michael has Boss Bottled Intense coming in, and he can't wait. Michael, I think I've got a sample of that, and yeah, I think also Kevin from Mersey Scent included that on a recent list of his. So actually, let's start off with that video. Has anyone watched Mersey Scent's top 10 cheapies? I wanted to bring that up as part of this discussion, and the reason I wanted to bring that up was because of the quality improvement from, if you watch one of these I know we all improve, but all of a sudden something's clicked with him and he seems to have nailed it. I've subbed to over 100 reviewers, impossible to watch all. Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes you can subscribe to too many people and your feed's too big, and the problem is, the danger with that is you will miss the ones that you really want to see. You can obviously put the notifications on your favourites, so that's what I do. So I might subscribe to say 100, 200 people, and then I click the notification bell on all videos on my favourites. So like you, for example, Nigel, that popped up in my news feed this morning as soon as it was released, purely because I've just got notifications set to all. So it's quite important actually. I think as a reviewer, if you can encourage people to do that, they will be more likely to watch your content if it's popping into their newsfeed. 10 cheapies, Rochus Mam. I haven't tried that, Michael. It's not something I've tried yet. I know it appears on a few lists. I'm yet to sample it. So Paul's put, yeah, Kevin is great. Yeah, so on to that subject. So you watched his video, obviously, Paul. I left a comment saying that the improvement in quality was exceptional. The lighting, the sound, the main thing I found though is I've noticed his editing's really improved. And yeah, he's got his nice new house, that helps. His kitchen's lovely and he's in a really nice backdrop there with the lighting. He seems to have got it now. I can't see him going back to reviewing in the car anytime soon. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy? I can't speak English. Stop laughing at me. You'll love the bottle, Tony. So did anyone else watch that video from Kevin? Just waiting for some comments to come in. What bottle, John? Were you talking about the Hugo Boss? Right, what we'll do then, comments seem to have frozen on my device. I'm not sure how to refresh it. Bear with me just 1 second, guys. Apologies, I've just paused. No, here we go. Comments in. Yeah, Kevin has such an easy way of presenting things. Yeah, I tell you what I also like about Kevin. He's my sort of character. He's a man's man, and he's just someone that you'd love to have a pint with. That's how I seem to judge people in life. Would I have a pint with them? Would I be happy to sit and have a pint and a chat? And that's my outlook on people. So if I'm happy to do that, then you're in my gang. The Rochas is a massive butt plug. John, I'm not. I better not get the bottle. I might be tempted. Dear, oh dear. He seems a lot more relaxed in his videos as well now. Yeah, he does. He seems to have. He seems to have got it, doesn't he? He seems to have. He seems not so nervous. He wasn't nervous in the first place, but he's just got his way, and it seems to be working. I hope his channel grows. He does deserve it. He's putting out enough content to do that, and it's been a little bit slow for him, bless him, but I think it will go up. So just watched you and Cubanos. If I watch Demi Rawlin, my missus tells me off. Dear, oh dear. I don't get told off for watching people. But that's funny. You heard that, Bex?
What?
Michael in the room gets told off if he watches Demi Rawlin.
I don't know if she is.
He's watched me and Cubanos, and he gets told off. He gets told off for watching A Pretty Lady. Do a fragrance review.
Does she have her boobies out?
She don't have her boobies out. She has cleavage, shall we say, sometimes.
Oh.
But, yeah. So John Snow, I know it took me places I never thought I'd drink with Scousers and Southerners. Miracles do happen. I'll tell you what we need to do, John. When all this madness and craziness is over, we do, and I know we've discussed this before, we all need to get together, have an afternoon in a pub somewhere. I think that will be awesome. To actually get to meet the people I talk to every day will be brilliant. But downside of that is I might not like you in real life. I like the fact that the hands of his cast off his dad. Yeah, I tell you what, that makes him really real. I've not got anyone apart from really my sons that are into fragrance. So my son, Josh, my oldest, he's 18, he has started ordering stuff in now as well. He watches reviews and he starts ordering stuff in. So his latest additions were, I'll be honest here, he added the one I did my 2-minute review last week. He ordered the YSL, so that's his bottle. He's ordered a few samples in recently as well. So he's got in the Strong With You Freeze, and he also got in one that's on my list, which is Light Blue Intense by D&G. He got that in as well, and that's lovely. Kevin, I'm definitely up for that, mate. There we go. What also has been put here? What's my wife been up to? Oh God, here we go. I like the fact that hands off his cast of his dad. Tony is also a lightweight, guys, so he's cheap to go out with. Twat. Baby sham. True story. I can see Tony with his umbrellas and little finger stick here. Yeah, no. Here, oh dear. Barry has done an amazing job promoting YouTubers under 100 subs. I heard you mention Scousers. He loves a woo-woo from Spoons.
You do?
Oh dear. I do. I do also like a pint as well.
Only a couple.
No, I like more pints than I do woo-woos. A woo-woo's after 4 pints.
4?
Yeah, oh dear. Barry, so yeah, no, let's move on. Now Kevin's in the room. Let's stop talking about Kevin. That could be a film, couldn't it? Let's stop talking about Kevin. And then we'll move on to Barry. So Barry's latest 2 videos of promoting YouTubers under 100. I think it's incredible. I really do. It's a lovely and time-consuming thing to do. Now, John started this over on Instagram. I just followed his lead, and every week I have to remember to screenshot people, to keep an eye on what's going on. It takes a bit of time. I'd like to know what job Barry has. He must have 2. Oh dear. Yeah. I've discussed. I think he's told me. I think he's an accountant or something. I think he's got a fairly good job. He does buy a lot of fragrances in. God knows what his budget is on fragrances. I really, really, really have to restrict myself, because otherwise I would be broke, and I really need to be saving any money I've got at the moment for these difficult times ahead. So we have Lizzie in the house. Hello, Lizzie. So yeah, we'd have to ask Barry what his budget is. I'd like to know. I know it's a personal question, but I want to know, what's the budget, Bazza? Is it £500 a month? That's a mortgage payment for some, but you know, to be fair, his channel is growing at the rates of knots. He really is. He works nights, doesn't he? Balaclava Crowbar. Oh dear. But so in that way then, he shares in Amazon, sorry, yeah. I think he has. He's Balaclava, he hasn't got time for that. John, has he? If he has got time for that and he's going around robbing people with crowbars, then he's like Robin Hood, isn't he? He takes from the rich and reviews the people that haven't got the thing. So he's like our modern day Robin Hood. Heather's in the house. Good morning, Heather. Or for us, it's just about afternoon, 20 past 12 here nearly. And I'm sorry I can't give anyone a blue spanner, because I am under 1,000 subs. I can't do this through the YouTube app, which means I haven't got all the functionality available to me. So it is just literally hit the button and live. So we have Chris in the house. Hello, Chris. How you doing? He did a copycat by bringing the family in on one of his recent videos. Yeah, that he's tagged me on that video, and I was thinking of tagging Chris again, just purely because his beautiful daughters he's had on camera a couple of times, and I think it's quite a fun thing to do. I like that idea. I've got to talk to my wife about it and see if it's something she's happy to do, but I think it's a great idea. Whether I can nail the fragrances or not, who knows. So it's after 12, beer o'clock. Yeah, I think 12 is the acceptable time, Chris. I think that's when the alcohol bell goes off, as that's when most pubs open, so that's perfectly acceptable to have a pint. The big... No, I don't want to. So Again, for anyone that doesn't know, I've got my wife on the comments, which is very dangerous because she just takes the mick out of me and trolls me. And she has great pleasure of doing that in front of my fragrance buddies. She just likes taking the mick. So I hope you have fun at my expense. I am missing the banter at my normal workplace. I'm used to that. I'm used to people taking the mick out of me, and I'm used to giving the stick out in quite a bit. In fact, one of the things I did yesterday, we've got a group chat at work, and one of my bosses came up with an idea to do something, and I didn't like the idea, so I removed him from the group chat, which I thought was hilarious. I've got a track record of doing that, haven't I, John? Someone asked Tony about his perfectly groomed eyebrows. Such a twat. Dear oh dear. Yes, my wife plucked my eyebrows this morning. She said I had a little bit of a monobrow going on. No eyebrow curlers out, no, they're not that long. They were getting quite long, but because I can't go to my barber and he can't get the comb on, and that's what older gentlemen have to do, and because I'm now 40, I have to do it too. Yes, was thinking of how perfect Tony's eyebrows are. Dear, oh dear. Kevin, are you the sort of man to get your eyebrows done? No filter today, Tony. I've removed that photo, John. That's Nigel. Sorry, I've removed that photo from Instagram. I couldn't bear to look at it anymore. It was ridiculous. Why did I ever post that? It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. They're better than mine. You got some caterpillars above your head, above your eyes there, Lizzie. I even put a face mask on him this morning on his request too. Oh, for God's sake. What's she doing to me? Mine are practically gone. I can't manage the clippers at all. No, mate. Kevin isn't someone to get his eyebrows done. Yeah, right. Hey, we have Matt in the house. Hello, Matthew. Welcome. And we have Scott in the house. Hello, Scott. So let's talk about another video. We've chatted about... I'll tell you what, let's talk about this. Has everyone watched Chris's video this morning? That was released at 8 o'clock, so Nigel, it's not that I love you any less, he got his video out before you. Chris is obviously in collaboration with Aaron, and he is sort of giving us an update, and he gave us his name. So what do we think of the name Smolder? That's my smouldering look. Did you like it? Tony, did you get your hairbrush yet? No, hairbrush is on the way. Hairbrush on the way. It doesn't look, it looks quite well groomed now. Put a bit of effort into it today, but it is long. When I don't gel it, it is like, I look like a mushroom. That's what I look like. So I've got a comb come in, which my wife was just like, what are you doing? A comb has got the razor in, and you comb your hair and it takes a bit off. Right, Michael's asked a question. Let's see if we can help him out with this. So, is it worth to use unscented body sprays as to bringing out the fragrance more? I've been thinking about it. Yeah, I asked about this quite some time ago on Instagram, Michael, and it's a very good question. There are a lot of people that use unscented body sprays. I tend to just use a very dry antiperspirant that hasn't got much. It hasn't got much fragrance to it. You don't. Shh.
Sorry.
Yeah, you don't get much fragrance. So I use. I think it's what brand is it that I use? Can you remember? Deodorant or antiperspirant that I use.
Sure.
Is it Sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry. So I use the Sure, the one that doesn't stain your t-shirts. So Smolder. Smolder is the name of Chris's new fragrance he's doing with Aaron. I love the reaction from your brother-in-law, Chris. He seemed to really like it, or the first submission anyway. They're saying bless you.
Oh!
Bless you. You're getting lots of bless yous. In future, can you
Bless you, my child.
Can you be quiet next time, please? Keep your sneezes to yourself. Yeah, so Chris, do you think you will release it in the summer, or are you still not sure? Obviously you're not there yet, I realise that. Are you still looking to release it soon? Yeah, Maz is a fellow frag crowd. Yeah, you could tell that. You could tell he was excited, and that comes across on camera. It really does. So you smell a lot. You sort of seemed to know what he was talking about. And yeah, he seemed really excited to try it, which was good. Powerful, sensual name. So if I bring one out, and yours is called Smolder, can I call mine Boulder? What are you laughing at? The notes sound very good. Dark, quite dark. I think we'll release when the composition is locked, whenever that may be. Yeah, it's you got to get it. You got to be happy with it, 100%. And it's not easy with. You just put please do. I can call mine Boulder, not Boulder as in BOLDR, as in how you smell, how bold, how. I can't talk. So this is the good thing about editing. You can edit your rubbish out. Boulder spelt BOULDER. How about poser, Tony?
Yes.
Poser's a good name. Not sure it quite suits me, but I like the idea. I like to wait for Aaron's new bottles. Right, Michael, Mr. Fragmental, I've ordered 1 million parfum as you've recommended it. The pressure is on you, haha. What are you talking about? Tiny's more of a pebble. Oh.
You can call it Pebble.
I should never have ever have logged her into my comments. I will learn my lesson. Well, I love 1 mil parfum. Yeah, I'd like to try that, 1 million parfum. I love 1 million, as some of you may realise. So 1 million parfum, I'm sure is gorgeous. If I had a fragrance, I'd call it old. He hasn't. Can I say it? I better not say it. There might be children locked in or in people's houses. LOL, Pebble EDP. Matt, are you up for creating that for me? Pebble the EDP. I think it's catchy, Matthew. I'm a big fan of 1 million, so I definitely want to try the parfum version. Yeah, it does sound lovely, and I'm sure you are a big 1 million fan, Kevin, aren't you? So I'm sure you'll love it too. Right, moving on. I want one of you guys to mention one of your favourite videos that you've watched this week. It's not all about me. Let me hear your suggestion of a video that you've enjoyed, and let's have a chat about it. This will be embarrassing. I've probably never watched it, but hey, let's give it a go. Any ideas, anybody? Hey, my wife's been on YouTube recently. Quite a bit, actually. But she's not been watching fragrance reviews. She's been watching how to pluck eyebrows. No, she hasn't been doing that. She's been watching fitness videos, and she's been going along with them. Very dedicated.
Mostly American, actually.
And they are American, yeah. Jon Snow. Right, yes, John, we'll move back to that. you need to remind me what one that was. Let's pick a couple out. Let's do Scott wearing the wig. He's in the room. We have the Centurion in the room himself. He had dressed him up as a rocker, but I felt he looked more like a wrestler. He looked more like an 80s wrestler about to take on Big Daddy. That's what. Sorry, Scott, but that was fantastic, mate. You are more daring than I would ever be. Until I have that ripped body, I will not be posing in my white Speedos anytime soon, so you're all safe. But no, Scott's video was hilarious, and you know what? I thought he was going to do it just for the intro, and then when the intro disappeared and he was still there without the wig but in his vest, fair play, that is brave. Loved it. And funny Scott. Scott's not far away from me, actually, I believe. I think I've seen on his videos he's in Norwich, which is about an hour from me, so definitely we'll be meeting up with Scott for a pint at some point. We've got, what else we got? I think Matt mentioned the video a bit further up. I haven't really caught up on any videos, but Killers Live was awesome. I watched the first live, the one that Chris wasn't in, which I enjoyed more. Sorry, Chris. It wasn't because of you though, mate. It was the story of... Did anyone watch that? That has to be mentioned. It was the story of the Fragrance Apprentice being tapped up by Jeremy Fragrance. I was at work, I had my earphones in, and I had my phone in my pocket listening to the live because it was quite long and it kept me occupied for a couple of hours, and I was really engaged with George's story about how he got tapped up by the Fragrance Apprentice and his time he spent in LA with him. It sounded like he had an absolute wacky time, but what an opportunity for him. It sounded like he had a brilliant one. What comments? Right, I can't see some of these when there's too many words. A really interesting video from Jeremy this week for a change, with an honest appraisal of low cost involved producing perfume, countered by massively high cost of marketing them. What else have we got? Oh my god, haven't seen Scott's video yet. Right, watching it next. Yeah, you need to watch that, Lizzie, it's hilarious. I thought Scott looked like an ex. Oh, did he? Watch it, Scott. If you're on Tinder, John's going to be hitting you up. Fragrance Tinder. We have Vitor in the house. Hi, Vitor. Welcome, my friend. So, yeah, if you hadn't watched that video with Killers Live, I suggest you go and watch his first live and listen to George tell his story, because it was really interesting. As a fragrance fan, I found it very engaging. I'm also enjoying James at the Fragrant Jock, to the point, straightforward, honest reviews. Fragrant Jock, I haven't seen his stuff, Paul. I'm really sorry. Literally, if you follow everybody, I'm going to struggle to keep up with everybody's content. So I will look him up though, on your suggestion. I will look up the Fragrance Jock when we've finished. What else have we got going on? Let's look at another video. So yeah, Lizzie, I was watching that video of Hillary's, the Fragrance Bureau, where she matches her fragrances with Disney villains, and I was falling asleep, not because of the video. I was knackered. It was about 12 o'clock last night, so I need to go back and finish it. But great idea. What an idea for a video. So making it a little bit sort of fantasy-like and matching your fragrances to those, fantastic. A new video is the best of She's My Girlfriend. Sweet Life, right. SWEA Life, a new video is the best as she's my girlfriend. Okay, we'll check that out. What else have we got? So I'm just flicking through the comments, excuse me. I'm just going to see if there's any other videos we need to talk about. Fed up talking about my eyebrows. Let's move on to something else. Is everybody sticking to any type of exercise routine at all? I know that's off topic, but let's have a chat about that. Is everybody sticking to a routine? Obviously, I know Chris will be, but is anybody else? Who needs Netflix when you have 50,000 YouTube videos to watch? This is true, Matt. There's quite a few YouTube videos to watch, but I do love Netflix, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out, buddy. There's some good stuff on there at the moment. Afterlife 2 has just dropped, and I will be watching the first couple of episodes of that today. Love the first series. I've been running and bodyweight circuits. Good on you, Kev. And 5 times a week in the garden. Yeah, good on you. I put my boxing bag up outside and still haven't used it. The wife's used it before me. I really do need to get out there and start boxing. I really do miss punching people. I really do. What else have we got? So we've got someone, John, just a morning walk up into the hills and forests. It helps clear your head though, John. It's good to get out, mate. Yes, workout Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I could tell from your vest video. Blimey. Yeah, I bought a bench and weight just at the right time before it all kicked off. Doing my weights every day and getting out for an hour cardio every day. Good on you, Marcus. So for those of you who don't know, again, Marcus runs the Instagram. He's got an Instagram handle called PDM_UK, which is Parfums de Marly UK. And he sells Parfums de Marly fragrances out of the UK, which are a little bit more difficult to get over here, and they are very reasonably priced. So if anyone is interested, anything Parfums de Marly, Marcus is your man, look him up. I've forgotten how to bloody exercise. Lizzie, what would normally be your exercise? Would it be going out for a run or a walk or a bike ride? I've gone out a couple of times recently for a bike ride. I'm hoping to get out again today. We've got a 8.5 mile route that we take that takes about 45 minutes, I think it took last time. The cost of weights at the moment. Have you watched Last Dance on Michael Jordan yet? I'm younger and had no clue who he was. That's good. Yeah, Michael, I haven't seen that. That looks fantastic. I love Michael Jordan, so I really do want to watch that. Great service from Marcus. Cheers, Tony and Chris. Questioning sense in the house, right? Tend to try and do some sprints on the common very early, but I think carrying large bags full of wine and beer seems to help. So basically you're saying you just run to the shop and buy alcohol. I don't think that counts. Brilliant idea though. And yeah, I like that. I'm gonna just go for a run, darling. Pick up some beer. Hope kettle isn't John. Lizzie, I don't have that sort of energy for that to be a euphemism. So, someone did mention something here. Tony dances to BBC Bite Size with Phoebe most morning, then needs a rest. Yeah, I do. I love that. If no one else has seen that, it's worth it just for the dance. Even if you've got no children, put it on, ages 7 to 9 on BBC Bite Size on the TV. And every morning they do a little dance, a little educational dance, and I am bang on that. I love it, absolutely love it.
My favourite one was the unicorn.
Yeah, the unicorn one was good. There are some banging dances on there, so I have a whale of a time doing that. Then I have to sit down and have a rest afterwards. I love Zumba and dance style. I used to be a gym fanatic, even managed to triathlon once. Blimey. Impressive. I wouldn't be comfortable going to a Zumba class. Just couldn't see me doing that. I couldn't be more uncomfortable actually. I'm quite a confident guy, but the thought of going into a room with a load of ladies all looking at you saying, what is this pillock doing? I pooed myself a little bit, I couldn't do it. The weight of her hair, I'm surprised it keeps it. I've got a device coming for that. I've got a comb with razor blades in. So I'll be able to comb my hair with razors in very soon. Just leave me alone. Leave my hair alone. Aha, well it's big enough, Mrs. Tony. Big head.
Why did they say Mrs.?
Look, I didn't.
Pretty.
You must have decent footwork from boxing. It's a very, very important part of boxing. Thanks for joining, Steve. You know what? I feel that I've got a slight advantage on footwork in boxing, and the reason for that is because I played football for many, 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 many years, and I found a lot of the training exercises you got on football move over to boxing, especially with the ladder runs and things like that. Very good. Loving Mrs. Tony, she's a ball buster. No, she's not a ball buster. There's another word for it, Rosie. Sorry, there's another. Why am I saying Rosie? It's because you're the name. Oh, I've been punched in the head too many times. Sorry, Lizzie. There is another name for her, and it's not ball buster. How is Steve anyway? I hope Steve is well. Steve, you've not been in one of these live chats yet. It's basically, we pretend to have a subject to talk about, and then the missus just takes the out of me for as long as it's live. And everyone joins in and thinks it's hilarious, because that's what they think they are. They think they're hilarious. Hardly a legend, John, but thank you. So we've been talking about videos that we've been impressed with. I know this is a little section that is on Scent Geeks. If you don't listen to Scent Geeks, here is a plug. Make sure you listen to it. I really look forward to it every week, and one of my favourite parts of it is what we're discussing today, and that is things that have happened in Fragcom, and more particularly YouTube videos and your favourite YouTube videos. So that's what we're discussing today. And we were talking about exercise because I did change the subject and ask people what they've been doing for their daily exercise routine. I don't know why I called you Rosie. Oh dear, sorry. Last time I was invited on the comments, I invited Fragrance Tinder.
I
Invented this.
Oh no, I picked invited.
Yeah, so you can't spell, so you're making yourself look like an idiot. Yeah. Never get that jingle out of your head for hours afterwards. Yeah, I walk around Tesco's on a Sunday night when it's out, and I've got my earphones in, and I basically hum and sing the Scent Geeks to myself. Haven't been caught yet. I'm sure I will do. It is a very catchy tune. Excuse me for one moment. Sorry, dry throat. It's a great listen, the Scent Geeks. I think I've got a few to catch up on. Right. While we have Steve in the room, Steve, can you select a YouTube video from this week that you've watched and enjoyed? And we'll have a chat. And we have Daniel San in the room. Hi Daniel, how you doing? Hope you're well. Tony blatantly has alcohol in that bottle. There's no alcohol in it yet. But if the alcohol belt has gone, and if I'm going to have a bottle of beer today, I need to do it fairly early, so because I'm working tonight. Monday morning ritual for me, St. Geeks. It was his cheeky V cocktail, Steve. Stop with the cocktails. It's beer. I drink beer. I get called Rose a lot. Can't think why. Yeah, I can't think why either. Must be the name. Rosie Jones. There we go. Has to be Killer's vid. Yeah, Killer's, he did his tag video, and I think he's hilarious. He's just got such a different way and style about him, and he doesn't give a monkeys, does he? He really doesn't. He loves it, and I've missed his videos massively, and to get him back now, I love the sarcasm. He's got a sarcastic sense of humour which us Brits seem to like, and without sounding mean, some Americans don't seem to get that sort of sarcasm. They think people are just being rude, but he doesn't mean it. I think he's brilliant. Killer's vid was mad. Yeah, he was mad. It was good. So this is the one where he did the tag that you tagged him in, wasn't it, Steve? And he also did a tag from someone else in the same video, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, a fragrance that he mentioned in there as well that he gets loads of compliments on was Parfums Vintage. Now, I've got a couple of fragrances in the post this week, and I've managed to tick a couple off of my list. I've got their decants, but I got some good sized decants. I liked George's 10 out of 10 vid. George. We'll go back to that in just a moment, Steve. Right, so decants. Lizzie, you need to go and check him out. Steve, Barry's vid was nice with his kids laughing. Yeah, very. I enjoyed that. And the outtakes and stuff as well. It's really lovely, isn't it, to see the children on the videos, because you can't tell them what to do, and they just do their own thing. And when they don't stop laughing, you can't help but have a really good smile at the video. It really is lovely, quite heartwarming, I think. Right, decants that I've got in this week. I haven't been able to get much recently, but these are on my list. And my first decant, good size one, is a 10ml. And I don't know if you can quite see that. Is that zoomed in okay? But that is Parfums Vintage Vanilla Intense. I haven't tried anything from Parfums Vintage. The Killer mentioned about the Emperor extract that he has, and he gets more compliments on that than anything else that he's got in his collection, and he often gets picked up on at work about it. So I have got this on as my scent of the day, and it says vanilla intense. I do pick up the vanilla in this, but it's not as strong as you might think. It still leans heavily towards the Aventus DNA, and it's got a hint of vanilla, which is very nice because I love that DNA anyway. Although people are finding it a little bit boring now, I still really enjoy it. And this has got that, just a hint and a touch of vanilla in. Yeah, I would try this, Steve. It's not heavily. It's not heavy on the vanilla at all. It's quite light. The pineapple and stuff still comes through more, but as it dries down a little bit, the vanilla does start to come through. It is really good. What else? What have we got here? PV are great. I'm planning to do a top 5 video. What apart from this vintage? That'd be interesting, Chris, because again, I've got no experience of the house at all until now, and this is really enjoyable. The problem I would have is if they are all quite similar. But no, I'd like to. I think they're just. The problem I've got with them is they're not actually. Although they're like they are like a clone house. I know they're good quality, especially from this. I can tell you now they're good quality, but I find they're quite expensive. Right, here we go. So they do a lot of classics, John. John. Right. Are then pineapple vintage ones just Aventus, or do they do other stuff? I loved the Jardine Amour next to the butter in the fridge, John. Yeah, that was hilarious. John's video was incredible. We'll talk about that in a moment. That's the next video we're going to talk about. They do other stuff, John. I have to rein my sarcasm in, Heather. Tony would agree, but I've worked with all men for 10 years. Yeah, she has. He has to give as good as she gets. They do lots of classics, John. I want to try Parfums Vintage Suave, clone of the Nuit de l'Homme. Sounds interesting. Cheers, guys. I'll have a look. Do fragrances expire? Opinion. No, my opinion is I don't think they do, Michael. Good question. I think people have touched on it before, but I wouldn't take any notice of a fragrance expiring. It depends on how it's stored. I store mine in my garage, which is cool, and it doesn't let much light through, and I don't get a lot of dust in there for some reason either, so it's not, I think it's a perfect place for me to store them. I do try and keep some in the boxes, my favourites anyway. I try and keep them in the boxes if I can. They are, I think some fragrances can get better with age. I think some can burn off, some of the alcohol might disappear a bit over time and you're left with something a bit different, but they can change over time is what I'm trying to get at. They do change, but no, they don't expire. Right, here we go too. What else have we got going on here? Let's catch up. Their presentation is great. It's looking to deliver niche quality, presentation quality with design type pricing. Yeah, I love the bottles actually. I think the bottles are fantastic. Bex, I let it out. Problem though, my kids are sarcastic also. Daughter is 2, but she also have 2 much older brothers. I think it sets them up for future though. Hi there, mate. Right, how are you doing today? Hello, the Frankenstein. How are you doing? Right, before we move over to John's video, let me show you what else I've had through. So these are 30 ml decants, and you'll wonder why I've got them in an unusual bottle. They are the real thing, I can confirm that. I've got good prices on these as decants. Obviously someone's trying to get rid of a good chunk of stuff, and I have gone for one of Steve's and Chris's favourites that they've mentioned quite a few times, and that is Azzaro Wanted by Night. This is a 30 ml decant. I think I paid about £15 for it, and I can see why you both love it. It is gorgeous stuff. It really is. Really, really lovely. So has anyone... That is nice. Very, very good. Azzaro Wanted by Night, ladies and gents, is lovely. That is good. Really good. Right. Good choice. Yeah, so it's something weirdly I had on my list without actually trying it. and the opportunity came out to get a few decants off of someone at a very reasonable price, and I picked up 10ml decant and 330ml decants, and I've heard really good things about. I've tried Azaro wanted, but not wanted by night, and I keep hearing Chris, Steve and other people tell you how. I think JC mentions it as well, Justin Copeland, and he really likes it, so I thought I've got to pick up at some point. And rather than just picking up, you know what, the difference between a 5ml or a 10ml decant, I just thought, well, a 30ml will probably last me for a long time. I thought I would go for that. So we've got, yeah, Azaro wanted by night. Mersey Sense has put, I've had a 0 wanted. I've had a Azaro wanted, but not by night flanker. This is good, Kevin. I think that you would prefer this over wanted. It's a little bit deeper and darker, and it's got something else, something more going on. I find the Azaro wanted just a little bit mainstream and a little bit not boring. It's a nice fragrance, but it's not ever gonna. It's not too different to a lot of things out there. Whereas this adds something to that.
Smells like a spiced fruit.
It does. Yeah, you're right. So Bex has just said that. She's just had, I think, a waft from it here. And it smells like a spiced fruit mince pie or something like that. It's lovely. So found Mont Blanc Legend Spirit used 90ml for 30 quid. Any good? Yeah, I that featured recently, Paul, in my video, and the only thing I'll warn you about it is that it's not got the best performance in the world. It is a really addictive fragrance. I really like it a lot. But you're going to have to be prepared to respray because it doesn't last. I get 2 to 3 hours, I would say. But it's one of those things where if you're not needing it for very long, it's great. So if you're going to the gym, or if you're just going out for a couple of hours for a meal, or you've just got to pop out or pop to the work or pop to the shops, it's a great dumb reach. It is lovely, and I think you'll like it. And 30 quid, you know what, it's a cheap fragrance. I would look, just before you press the button, have a look on All Beauty and Notino just to make sure you can't get it for a similar price new. Because 30 quid, I'm sure I've seen the 100ml bottle with close to that. But £30 sounds reasonable. Right, what else? So lastly, my last fragrance that I picked up, I did pick up a 30ml for the wife. I got her Alien. It's one of our favourite fragrances, and again a great price. So I picked up 30ml of Alien. I think that again was about £15. Lastly, I picked up Prada L'Homme Intense. Sorry about the lighting. Now this goes to me in a completely different direction to Prada L'Homme. I love Prada L'Homme, again featured it in my list from my video this morning. I love it as a work fragrance, I think it's fantastic. I love the iris in it, very, very powdery. And this goes in a different direction. It's got a bit of it smells to me a little bit powdery still, and it smells like sweets. It's got that slight iris note in there. It's not as lipsticky as some, but it's got like this red fruit accord, which makes it smell with the powdery a little bit like sweets. In fact, Matt, Beck said that raspberry and vanilla had a slight similarity, and I think that was from the powderiness and the sweetness from it. So maybe this has got a raspberry note in. I've not looked up the notes yet, but this is good, really good. So that's Prada L'Homme Intense. Right, the comments seem to have stopped on my screen, Bex. I've got Marcus as the last commenter, is that right?
Who? No.
No?
You've got quite a few underneath that.
Okay.
Jim has joined.
I can't see the comments, guys, so bear with me one moment. I don't want to turn the live off, but I just want to see if I can somehow refresh the comments, which I'm not sure I can. So I might have to borrow the phone or something. So,
Oh man.
can you borrow Phoebe's iPad a minute or not? 'Cause I'm logged into there.
No.
Right, here we go. So sorry, let me just catch up on the comments. Paul, I think it's on All Beauty a little less. Thank you, Marcus. Paul, thank you, John. I'd watch all the little fragrance sites. They all kind of rotate their deals. Kevin's TK Maxx usually sell it too. Love Alien. Jim. Hello, Jim. Welcome, mate. Morning, just woke up. Alien's one of my favourite. John. Paul, I know you're interested in Happy Land fragrances. Not easy to find over here. Yes, Paul, I am interested in Happy Land. I want to try a few of their fragrances. Rhyolite is the top of my list of what I try from them, but things like Home from the Holidays, I believe Mark from The Average Fraghead has managed to get his hands on a couple and he really enjoys them. John loves Alien. Centurion, hi Jim, hi Jim. Want to try some Happy Land. A lot of the American reviewers love them. They seem to. Michael, because you didn't see the comment again, try Jill Sanders Sun Men, the original orange cap bottle. Cheap, £15, and just wow. I haven't seen that, Michael, so I'll have to try and get my hands on it. Hi Scott, hi Heather, hi Jim. Kev, Happy Land are awesome. Hello John, I've heard Scott. Right, so who have we got in the house still? Have we still got Chris? Have we still got Steve in the house? Let's talk about John's video. I want to talk about John's video on Instagram. So John did 10 cheapies and done his little review on Instagram. I think that he should put them on YouTube.
Steve's going for lunch.
Steve's going for lunch, right. Steve, thanks for joining me, mate. I'll listen out for Scent Geeks later. Don't forget everybody else, Scent Geeks. It'll probably be out for tomorrow morning, I believe, but have a good one, mate. Have a good chat with Chris, and I'll catch you in a bit. Thank you, Steve. So yeah, John's video should be released onto YouTube. I think we should start a petition and we should get some signatures together to put forward to the government for John to start his own YouTube channel. Now, although John seems a little shy and not happy to release his identity to the world, I think giving it that air that Jon Snow is in fact Jon Snow from the north, I think he should release the videos. I really, really enjoy the way John comes across on explaining how he feels and what he gets from fragrances. I messaged him the other day and said that the pace and the tone is perfect. He has a wonderful way of words. I actually love his kookiness. He's a little bit strange boy, but he is a great guy and I really, really enjoyed the review. You need to do more, John. Get more videos out. I know the editing is a pain in the bum, but it's worth it, mate, because you clearly enjoy it. Get your content out there because people will watch it 100%. And you know what? You'll have a big YouTube following if you came over here. I know you wouldn't do it for that, but definitely worth considering getting you on YouTube. let's get that petition started. Have we got any more comments? Sorry, I'm just going to go back to the comments.
Tony Easy. Easy. I can't get Happy Land shipped to UK.
Who's that?
Tony Easy.
Right, and what's he said?
I can't get Happy Land shipped to the UK.
He can't, no.
Jim, hashtag bring John to the masses.
Yes, let's bring John to the masses.
John Snow, well, my mum says special thanks, Tony.
He's got a face only a mother could love.
Oh, little, he would get thousands of followers in one day.
Yeah, he would. Yep, agreed.
Mersey sense, definitely.
Did everyone enjoy the video? Has anyone? No one's left any comments about the video. I thought it was very good, very, very well put together.
2 cents worth. John is the man.
John is the man. Yeah.
I
John.
think John's gone shy. John Snow has gone shy.
Do you hear that, John? Have you gone shy?
He's blushing.
John's blushing.
No, stop it. No, carry on.
John, you're getting trolled by my wife now, mate. It's not just me, it's moved over to you. I don't know if you heard that. She's like, oh, stop it. No, carry on. No, stop it. No, carry on. Hilarious. Dear, oh dear. Right, what else can we talk about? Any more videos, anybody? There was a video mentioned from Marcus, Jeremy Fragrance.
Michael has asked, is there a number of bottles in your collection that you would stop at?
Oh, good question. That's a nice question.
Yeah, it's a good
Actually, I
question.
like this. Can you fire me questions? It makes the live stream flow a little bit better. You ask the questions, my wife will read them to me, and I'll answer them. Let's do that. Ask me a question. Any question, doesn't have to be fragrance related. So let's go with that question. So Michael's asked, would I stop at any amount of fragrances in my collection? Right, there is a guy on Instagram and he is called 99 Bottles or something along those lines. Hello Phoebe. And he has got the idea that he'll only stop at 99. He won't have any more fragrances in his collection. So if he wants a new fragrance in his collection, he has to relegate one and get rid of it. So he's only ever got 99. I love that idea. You know what, as I would consider myself a fragrance reviewer now, I wouldn't,
Good eating.
I don't think there is a number that I could stop at. I was discussing this with my wife yesterday. There are some fragrances that do become redundant that you try and review and you won't use again. And because my budget isn't very big, they're not worth any money. And I will either do giveaways or I'll pass them on to a friend at work. So my bottle collection isn't the biggest out there. I have approximately, I would say, over 50 now. And with samples and other stuff, I probably could count 100 with samples and decants and other things. So I get my nose on quite a bit, but I'm not precious. The collection part of it isn't something I'm particularly that precious about. I will keep what I really like and love, and that collection I think will naturally grow over time to a point where I'd never ever wear it all. And even now I can honestly say that even with me and my sons using it, I don't think if I kept everything I've got I could use it in my lifetime. But I don't just have it for my enjoyment, I have it sometimes to review. The ones I've got in there, they were free blind purchases and they're decants and I didn't pay a fortune for them. I wouldn't get rid of those. They're ones that I really enjoy and I'll put them into my collection and I will review them at some point and that gives me content. So that is my answer to that question. Any more questions? What have we got going on?
Tony, do you think I'll have a man bun by the end of summer?
I could quite easily have a man done. There is a lot of hair there, and if I put it all together, I could probably, I need to get rid of these bits here and here, but I could probably have a man bun. I have ordered a band so I can put my hair back like some girl. Look, there we go. So there's a lot of hair there, as you can see. So, yes, I would consider a man bum.
2 cents worth. Do you comb your hair in between rounds when boxing?
That's hilarious. That is brilliant. I love it. We did say ask me questions, and that's a great question. I don't comb my hair between rounds in boxing. I do have it a bit shorter when I'm boxing. The official guideline of boxing is not below your brow. So when your hair is down and you're sweating and you've got it behind a headguard, for example, your hair can't come below that area there. So no is the answer. Nigel, you cheeky git.
Moses sense. What's the next fragrance you're looking to buy?
Good question. I will keep going on and on like a broken record, Kevin, until I get it in my collection. And what is that fragrance, Bex?
The Chronic.
The Chronic. The Chronic is the one I'm hankering after the most. I am looking to try, as someone in this room knows very well, a few PDMs, and I will want a full bottle of whatever my favourite PDM is in my collection, hopefully very soon. I think they're great value. I really do. I think 125 mils for what Marcus can supply most of them at £145. I think that's good value. Really do. So I will be looking to add the Chronic into my collection very soon, and then moving on to whatever my favourite Parfums de Marly is.
Jon Snow.
Right, here we go. I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited.
Where are you getting your blue pills from during lockdown? I said eBay. He says, explains why the hair's standing up, Mrs. Tidy. Heather, the scent you hate that others love.
Oh, that's easy, Heather. I've got a great answer for this. Kevin, can you enlighten Heather on what my fragrance is I don't like that other people love, and I don't like it? If Lizzie is in the room, she could probably answer it. John could probably answer that question as well. So I want to see if one of those could put the answer in the comments for me of a fragrance, and I'll see if they get it right. If they don't get it right, Heather, I will let you know as soon as the answers come onto the screen.
Heather has got one.
Okay.
I said to Heather, I generally dislike most niche fragrances. Tom Ford is my ultimate, but I shall ask him. I said that I like the cherry one, Lost Cherry.
Yeah.
And what's the other Tom Ford I like?
Noir Extreme.
There we go, Heather. Maya is in the house.
Hey, hi Maya. Just give Maya a plug quickly. Maya has got a live stream going on at 3 p.m, 3 till 5 I believe. So everybody head over to her Instagram page and you will find a link and you'll be able to join Maya and friends for her live.
Paul Edmonds, what fragrances match some of the car brands you sell? So, right, I sell Kias and Kias only. So I work for the brand and they are a budget brand. I did a scent my ride video recently, Paul, and the one I matched it up to was Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now I'll let you into a little secret. It was actually my wife that said Aventus. And she said Aventus for Kia. The reason she said Aventus, not because it's the king, we're not that big-headed, it was more because Kia were quite niche in a way, in the fact that not many people knew who they were. Most people know most of the big brands, Ford and Vauxhall and Volkswagen, Toyota, etc. And not many people going back 10 years ago had heard of Creed Aventus, stroke the Kia. And as time's gone on, they have become incredibly popular. They're not niche at all anymore, but they are still fantastic quality. So my choice was the more budget option, because Kia is a budget brand. We chose Club de Nuit Intense Man. There we go, there's my answer.
Heather said, which scent do you hate that others love?
Oh, that's the one I'm talking about. That's the one that I felt that Kevin or other people could answer in the room for me.
Oh, because everybody wanted to know what the question was.
Right, okay. So the question is, what do I hate that other people love the most? So if you haven't got that, if Kevin is still in the room, if he could answer that. If John is in the room, he could still answer
Kevin
it.
said, mine is Leighton, but I'll probably have to get AF Royal equestrian first.
That's the ones he loves the most. So that's so he wants Royal. So he wants Royal Equestrian first. Okay, I understand.
He also goes probably tobacco and oud fragrances.
No, wrong answer. So the answer to that question was Black Phantom by Killian.
John said, I know Tony's the only guy on earth who hates Youp Hom and Black Phantom.
There we go. So I'm not the only person on the planet that hates Youp Hom, but I am probably the only person on the planet that hates Black Phantom. Very, very sorry to say that. I can appreciate it as a good fragrance. I understand why people would love it, and it's not that I don't understand it. It's just, for me, I've got a scent association with this. I really wasn't well just after Christmas, New Year. Lizzie had timed this awfully and sent me kindly a couple of fragrances to try. One I loved, and this one I just couldn't. And it gave me a headache. It made me feel a bit queasy, a bit unwell, but I wasn't feeling well at the time anyway. I've gone back to it since and given it a spray thinking, well, is it because I wasn't well? And it just brings me straight back to not being well. So I can't live with Black Phantom, I'm afraid. It's got something in there that just makes me feel a bit queasy. And I've never said that about any fragrance before. There's some that I've had to literally wash off, but there's none that I can honestly say that are great, but I don't love because of that memory. There we go, there's my answer. Black Phantom. Any other questions?
Any other question? 2 cents worth. I'm just looking for unique scents these days. Not necessarily niche, but want scent profiles that differ from what I've got. In brackets, I've got too many that cross over too close to warrant a purchase.
Yeah, I think Nigel's had a big collection in the past. I think he flips them now, which is, he moves them on quite quickly, especially if he doesn't like them. Nigel, I think you've got the right attitude, mate. I think this is too inexpensive in a game. It could get out of control quite easily. And I think you gave me some advice some time ago on that and said, look, you don't need to have the biggest collection in the world to do well as a fragrance reviewer. And yes, you need content. And I've been lucky enough to have some great brands get in contact with me, and I am thankful to those, and it gives me content without spending a fortune. But I think as a fragrance reviewer, you also need to get your nose on quite a bit to have an idea about what you're talking about, and my knowledge has certainly really increased over the last few months. I'm nowhere near an expert, and I can honestly say, Nigel, I'm nowhere near your level in terms of what you detect when you smell something compared to my basic nose, where I can pick some things out, but I sometimes get a fragrance through and I really struggle to detect what's in there. And there are fragrances like that where you just think, well, how do I explain this? But you know what, if I had that, then I would have to get to grips with it before I decide to review it. So Nigel is very good at seeking out great fragrances that are unique at great prices. He does a lot of research. So Nigel, keep doing what you're doing, mate, because you manage to pick up stuff that I would certainly want in my collection that I've never heard of, and I've actually picked up things from your videos, as you well know, that I've wanted to add and have added. So keep doing what you're doing. Any more questions? Come on, ask me questions.
Michael, don't like Versace the Dreamer, makes me feel arrogant.
Makes you feel arrogant. Wow, I've never heard that before.
Have those scent memories can be fantastic or horrific?
Yeah, most of mine are really good. No, I've mentioned in my, if you haven't watched my latest video, Heavy, I mentioned about Issey Miyake, and I've mentioned it a few times before, that Issey Miyake has got some wonderful scent memories, and that is how powerful scent memory can be. It really is. It might be that you smell something and it reminds you and takes you straight to a place. Another fragrance that's done that for me, but unfortunately Bex doesn't like it, is Rosa Salas's interpretation of Tobacco Vanille. That takes me straight back to my Nana Grandad's house because of the smoke and the vanilla and the cooking, and it takes me back to my Nana Grandad's house. So Tobacco Vanille for me is something that I find the original too strong, but Rosa Salas's version is wearable and I really enjoy it. So yeah, no, there's definitely something that happens, but I luckily don't have too much that gives me those bad memories. I can't particularly think. I'm quite lucky that I haven't got, for example, I'll give you this, my wife won't like me talking about this that much, but she's here and can listen. For example, I'm sure a lot of you have fragrances that remind you of exes. I haven't, which I think I'm probably quite lucky. I haven't.
You didn't wear anyway.
Ex. Bex has mentioned ex, not exes. I.
She didn't wear any. Don't worry about that.
So I haven't got a fragrance that reminds me of an ex or something like that. So no, that's. I think that's a good subject. Any other questions? Let's move on.
Heather did actually say I cannot tolerate D&G the one, the original. My ex wears that.
Okay, it's the same subject.
Mercy Sense, I really love the note of rose, but I didn't really like it when I started. My nose has changed a lot.
Yeah, I think mine's changed a lot as well. Although I still can't stand a lot of ouds, I have really grown to love fougères. I found some of them to be too old school and a little bit like something like an older man would wear. But as time's gone on, I've become to sort of really appreciate the freshness, and I think spring is just the perfect time to wear anything of that barbershop fougère type nature. And another fragrance that I am hankering after is the Norton and Wilson one. That is one that I would like to try, get my nose on. Anything else?
Jon Snow, my advice, Tony, for getting more unique is get the gender thing out your head. You personally aren't like that, but for me personally, it's opened a whole new world of things that are new and unique to me.
Yeah, John, there are some female fragrances that I like. Excuse me. My wife got recently the D&G. The only one, I think. D&G, the only one Intense, I think it is. And I personally would wear that, although she looked at me and went, really? I would struggle in the environment that I'm in, and certainly the friends that I've got, and my wife as well, I would struggle to wear anything that's too feminine. Now, if you're saying you've got to do it for yourself, that is me as well, unfortunately. I wouldn't want to smell feminine. I know some fragrances do that and lean feminine. I've got no problems with something, for example, I think Mula Mula is quite feminine. But I love that, and I would wear that all day long. But there are some rose fragrances that I would struggle with, and not just because it's more feminine, but because, like Kevin's had previously, there are some roses that are just too flowery for me. It's just not me, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean I would judge or make anyone else feel bad because they wear, or even sort of act like a dumbass and take the mick because they wear female fragrances. I agree, a fragrance is a fragrance, and it's every person is different, and you interpret it how you want to interpret it, and that is absolutely fine. And if you're comfortable wearing a female, what word should we use? A female targeted fragrance, then rock it. I don't. You know what? I would probably smell something on another man and sometimes wouldn't even know. And I've got some feminine leaning fragrances in my collection, but I couldn't wear anything too flowery. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
Matt, I found tobacco vanilla really nauseating when I started in perfume. I really enjoy it now though.
Yeah, what did I have? I had a perfume parlour one early on, and I got my nose on the original in store. I think it was a perfume shop. They had a load of Tom Fords on display, and I tried it because I knew it was one of their big sellers. And I felt it was just too strong. But as time's gone on, people's noses do change, and I really like it. I think we crave stuff that we want to smell, and I think it lasts and projects incredibly well. Whether other people would like that as much, I'm not sure. Certainly not the opening in that fragrance, but maybe the dry down with that vanilla I think it will get compliments, definitely, especially for people that love fragrance.
I've got a gentleman called Lee. Once you open your fragrance, how long should it last? I've seen some on YouTube that's years old, original formulations. They say how good it still smells. I thought it goes off eventually.
No, we've covered this, Lee. Thanks for joining. We've covered that. I think Matt answered the question very well. It shouldn't go off. I think if it's stored correctly, it needs to be stored in a cool, dark place. If you've got the box, keep the box, put it in the box. Once you've opened it, it's not like a milkshake. It won't just go off. It's got alcohol in it usually, and it's got very high concentrated ingredients a lot of the time. They should last. They shouldn't go off, so don't worry about that. They should last you years. There are cheaper fragrances that you could get where the raw ingredient might dull down over time and you're left with more of the alcohol, but it's not something you should worry about at all.
Notes of scent. Have you tried wearing Chanel No. 5?
No, I've not. My mum used to wear Chanel No. 5 when I was younger, and I know we should wear fragrance for ourselves, but I predominantly live with my family and they wouldn't like it. My wife doesn't like it. I think her mum's maybe had that when she was younger, and it's too floral for me, too classical. Again, I appreciate that type of classical fragrance, but it's not for me, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Jon Snow, Jim and Matt Clements made a story on Insta of a little discussion she had with a fella about her calling it perfume. Matt from Pocket Sense, people into fragrance don't categorise, however the mass market still want it to be pointed one way or the other, perfume or aftershave.
Yeah, you know what, I wouldn't have a problem if they just brought out something that was called a fragrance and you make your own mind up whether you like it or not. But that doesn't stop something being feminine or masculine still to me. I would always be happy to wear a fragrance if it leans feminine.
I have a question.
Hold on one moment, my wife has a question.
I can understand males going towards female fragrances.
Yeah.
But you men out there, you wouldn't be attracted to a woman wearing a male scent.
Now, this is a good question because there is a lot of fragrance reviewers out there and women fragrance reviewers, and some of them, a lot of them, lean towards the male market and what men. Obviously, we've got Maya likes some male fragrance. She doesn't see gender in fragrance, and I appreciate anyone that doesn't. But yeah, to answer that question from me, I personally wouldn't necessarily like you wearing or find it attractive you wearing. Let's give you an example. Dior Sauvage, perfect example.
Women cannot pass off a
Right.
men's fragrance.
So I think they can, but not something like Dior Sauvage. But if I got you to wear Parfum Vintage Vanilla Intense, you would get away with that. If I got you to wear any Fougere, believe it or not, the freshness and the zestiness of that, I think that would work as well. I think you'll be surprised at what I would find attractive on you.
But for the mass market,
Yep,
a female walking past you, especially John in this question,
yep,
she wears Alien, which
Yep.
is very, very feminine,
yep.
which I think the mass market of males are attracted to a beautiful, delicate scent on a very attractive lady.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, you know what? Bex came up with this idea of a video not long ago that a lot of us concentrate on male fragrances. What do we find attractive on women? And wouldn't it be great to go out onto the street as a male and ask other males what they would like to smell, and I could go a slightly masculine fragrance that they don't know what it is, and I could go something more mainstream, more well known, like Alien for example, and I spray one and I spray another and I get their reactions on camera as to what they would prefer their lady to wear. I think that's a great idea for a video. Don't steal it.
So people have said, Matt says it depends on the girl, I would think. So if you've got a delicate girl next door, very delicate features,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's because I'm not into fragrance, but you would, in abbreviation, like in little comics, you would expect her to smell delicate and floral. If you've got a woman of a stature of 6'7", quite broad.
Got Tyson Fury. 6'7", love. What a woman.
Well, you know, you I don't. Maybe it's just me. Maybe being female, it's like when I ran out of your deodorant.
Yeah.
I borrowed your deodorant and I could smell that on me all day. Obviously, it was different. It's not like Dove or Shaw.
Yeah, but you're used to smelling that on me. If it was another one that you wasn't used to smelling on me, you might be alright with it.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't go to the
Good
boys.
questions.
I wouldn't go to the boys' aftershaves or colognes and think, do you know what? I'm going to wear
1 million.
1 million.
Yeah, 1 million's quite masculine. But I can understand why women would like some of those fragrances, and I think you should give more a go. Not necessarily Dior Sauvage or 1 million, but you wore Sacred, which is completely unisex. And
That's too deep for me.
Purple Gourmand, another one from Matt, that's perfect.
Yeah, but I would lean more towards, that is definitely, I'm not talking about niche fragrances,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the generic, mass marketed Dior Sauvage, the male orientated generic smells on the market.
Okay.
I'm not going
People-
towards Tom Fords or the niches
So-
where they're not generalised.
So one that people recognise, Ruth.
I'm talking about the 1 millions, the Dior
Blood de Chanel's.
Sauvage. Yeah, it's they're not, I would say, something that a female would necessarily spray on themselves. I wouldn't want to walk around smelling of Dior Sauvage.
No.
And I don't think me walking past any males would make them think, God, she smells really nice, compared to a Miss Dior.
Okay, yeah, I see your point. Miss Dior is prettier than Dior Sauvage, I suppose, on the lady. But
I'm not aiming towards niche. I'm aiming towards the off-the-shelf, like the very commercialised fragrances. I understand Matthew's scent of purple gourmand and stuff like that. I would say that's more niche. I'm saying you walk into Boots, you walk into Superdrug. As a female, I wouldn't then go and pick up Hugo Boss Orange and go, do you know, I want to spray that on myself. That's
No.
just me.
no, but I think that's what marketing does as well. Marketing definitely does do that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Have we got any questions? It doesn't have to be fragrance related. I'm not answering where I got my blue pills from though, John.
Jon Snow, I think Alien is incredibly masculine actually. It's that uniqueness that I think I absolutely love. Vitor, big brands like Tom Ford don't categorise their scents as for men, women.
They don't, no.
So that,
not their private blends anyway. That's very true.
Matt from Pocket Scents, Alien is predominantly a sandalwood frag and actually has huge similarities to Reflection Man, which is a masculine fragrance. Take from that what you will. Mersey Scents, my favourite fragrance is Tom Ford Black Orchid EDP, but that was originally marketed towards ladies. Michael, do you also love the people who say, I forgot what I'm wearing, if you'd ask them? Jon Snow, okay. Heather, my son wears loads of scents I've passed on to him. He's 6 foot and 240 pounds. But then again, he's male.
Okay.
So
you think it's more okay for men to go towards feminine and
it'd be
women to go towards
interesting.
masculine?
Yeah, I think there's not many videos out there for, say for example, Chris and Steve. They've not done videos based on what their thoughts are on female fragrances.
No, there's not as much content out there for female fragrances, I agree. I think the fragrance world, when you're reviewing the more niche stuff, they aren't aimed towards male or female anyway.
So it'd be interesting to see what thoughts on male fragrance reviewers out there would think on a wider selection of female fragrances and what they like on their nose.
There we go. Have we got any more questions?
Paul Edmonds, best decade in boxing, 80s, 70s or 60s?
Oh, God. So, great question, Paul. I have very fond memories of the 80s, although it went through a bad time. Now, boxing has changed a lot. I won't go into too long a discussion, you'll keep me all day on this. But I haven't got much experience of 60s and 70s. I haven't watched too much of the old stuff back, admittedly. Boxing in the 80s went for a stage where we had the big names were focused on. And outside of those big names, we didn't really see much else. So, I'll give you an example. Let's move on to some of the Frank Bruno fights. Frank Bruno would probably have 2 or 3 big fights a year, and they would be televised on normal terrestrial TV for the masses to see. So people remember those fights, but they only ever showed 3 big fight cards a year on any TV. So we remember those names with real affection. Today the market has changed a lot. Before this craziness, I watch a lot of boxing, and I think the time we've got now, I know that wasn't the question, but the time we've got now is the best time we've ever had in any boxing history. There are so many boxers coming through, especially UK boxers. Our state-of-the-art facilities that we have in Sheffield and how we're geared up for the Olympics, how well we've done in the previous 2 Olympics and how well we're going to do in the next 2 or 3 Olympics is incredible. the kids that are coming through these clubs at the moment that are amateurs, and they're fighting from 11 and younger, and they're going through, and this next batch of people coming through the system at the moment, not necessarily this Olympics which was due now, we will do really well in that Olympics, but in 4 years time when we see that batch of people come through, you will be amazed at the quality. Those people all eventually, most of them, if they keep with their training, their aim is to eventually turn pro. So this next 10 years of boxing is going to be the best yet. Mark my words. So the best era in boxing by a country mile in my eyes is now, next 10 years also. And you'll see a fight on TV every 2 weeks, not every 3 or 4 months. Every 2 weeks-ish in the height of this. So on the boxing season, which is September round to around June, you will see a fight card with decent fighters on every couple of weeks.
Michael, thoughts on Molecules 01 as it's so expensive?
Yeah, I've not tried all of the molecules. I've tried a couple of them. I've tried what have I got? I've got Molecule 01, I believe. Matt does a Molecule 01 as well, and they don't smell an awful lot to me. It's not a brand that really interests me too much. When there's so much out there that's got so much more going on, sometimes simple is good, but they don't tend to concentrate on more than one note, and I don't really find that massively interesting. So sorry. Any other questions? Right, we're going to ask a couple more questions and then we're going to head off because we have now been live for an hour and 40 minutes. But I really appreciate you all staying with me. I've had a good chat.
So, anybody in the other film? Nothing coming through just yet.
No? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap it up now then. Thank you to everybody for joining me. I really appreciate you coming on my live feed and interacting and supporting the channel. Thank you so much. I will try and do this every Sunday if I have time. Looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care of yourselves. Over and out.